The losing streak is over. Dallas Cowboys Nation can finally exhale. 34-26 in a wild one in Washington. The Cowboys get their fourth win of the NFL season, and they do so by beating their former defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, in his first game against his former team as the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Welcome into the First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper. We've got Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans, breaking down what just happened in Washington. What just happened was wild because the first half, and I said this to Barry at halftime, I don't know if I've ever seen a first half with so much action that led to nothing.
Nothing at all.
3-3 was the score at the halftime break. It was a wild first half. I thought there was no way that the second half could one-up the first half. It absolutely one-upped the first half.
Crazy fourth quarter.
54 points combined in the second half alone. And the Cowboys somehow win this one. Special teams was a big part of this. Where do you want to start with this one, Barry?
Oh, man, it was all over the board. And for a while there in that first half, I thought for certain neither of these teams wanted to win the game. I mean, it was very sloppy, penalties, turnovers here and there. But that was exactly the game that the Cowboys needed to go out there and get this W. I mean, defensively, you saw it. They did a great job on Jaden Daniels out there. He had some yards in that second half, but overall, they did a great job of keeping him contained and not letting him get the big play on them until that, last fourth quarter with scary Terry McLaurin. But offensively, I want to start there. I mean, Finally, we saw this offense have a balanced approach. All right, they were able to feed Rico Dowdle out there. He was able to get busy for the most part. And what that did to that Washington defense, it didn't allow them to pin their ears back and just get after Cooper Rush. I mean, we saw it last week when they threw the ball 55 times. That Texans defense was able to get after him. Not the case this week. They were able to have a balanced approach out there. CeeDee Lamb stepped up when the ball was thrown his way. He was able to make a lot of contested catches out there. And you love what you saw from the special teams, especially the returner, Kevontae Turpin, was able to get busy out there. A couple missed kicks here and there, but overall, I would say this is the best complete win that this team has had since the Cleveland game that week one.
I like the defense, man. I like the defense. We've been talking about how Coach Zimmer's defense over the past few weeks has been improving, and we kind of all anticipated that they would start to improve as they started to get some of their guys back. They got Micah Parsons back. They started playing better. All of a sudden, now you have Deron Bland comes back, okay, and all of a sudden, guys like Josh Butler steps up in a major way today and starts making plays. Guys are starting to make plays. You're starting to kind of see this defense start to gel a little bit, and they're starting to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And when you're able to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, now all of a sudden you start forcing teams to make errant throws. You start making them scramble all over the place, and you start making third downs turn into fourth downs that are going to be in and in punts. It's a good thing that this defense is starting to come around because it's giving the confidence to the offense to go out there and try to convert as well.
We talked about before this game, the time possession. I think the Cowboys had, 33 plus minutes time possession.
35 minutes.
25 carries, 28 carries. They did a nice job. They played hard, scored touchdowns. We said at the last of our pregame show that they had to score touchdowns, and it happened.
They did finally finish some drives, finish some touchdowns. And I mean, what can you say about the special teams element? I mean, it was so ugly early on. You had a blocked kick, a blocked punt. You had multiple misses. You had Brandon Aubrey start 0 of 2 from the field goal range.
A muffed kickoff return.
Turned into a 99-yard touchdown the other way. I mean, Turping speed happens again. It was a wild game from special teams.
Yeah,
what does that say about your team and about really what Washington brought to the table too?
Look, it takes all parts of a team to get a victory. Not just one sack can go out there and get you the victory. It has to do with special teams, offense, defense. And what I loved about the defensive side of the football this game is they won on first and second down. You saw this team for the Washington Commanders in a lot of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, and that fell right into what this defense loves to do, which is get after the quarterback. They were forcing Daniels to run and scramble and try to buy time. You saw Micah Parsons. You saw Overshown being able to use that speed out there, and that's what happens when you win on first and second down and you're able to stifle the run that this defense was able to do out there. To me, it was a great complete team win this afternoon.
When your special teams is able to make an impact in the way in which they were, it lets you know that your team is in a close enough game where that special teams play can maybe be the difference maker in the game.
Yeah.
The game was close enough right? So that the offense needed one play, the defense needed one play, or the special teams needed a play. And so you see something like Cavante Turpin where it could have been a real bad deal where he muffed the kickoff return, and then all of a sudden, because guys are still playing through the end of the whistle, guys are taking care of their responsibilities, and you would give your guy who's a heck of a playmaker an opportunity to go out there and change the dynamic of this game. Also, when things went bad, this team bounced back. When these guys were in a position where they could have had more penalties like they did in the rest of the year, they didn't. They only had 4 penalties, so they didn't hurt themselves. So you didn't hurt yourselves, and you gave your guys an opportunity to go out there and make plays. Cooper Rush went out there, 75% on completion. You just gave yourself an opportunity, and when you give yourself an opportunity, crazy things can happen like it did today.
Offensive line. It wasn't perfect, but you went out there, young guys went out there and they played hard. We haven't seen this since the Steelers game where it's just gritty.
Yeah.
You know, 4 or 5 weeks ago we was talking about the defense. 2 weeks ago we talking about the offense not helping the defense. Special teams, they holding their ground. Today, they just picked up one another. They played as a team. They should be hugging one another in that locker room, feeling some goodness about themselves.
Well, you end a 5-game losing streak. You did so in the gritty way that we just talked about a little bit. I thought one thing that stuck out to me, and it is a microcosm of what you need in order to win games in a season like this, and it was off of the kick return for Cavante Turpin, who was leading the way for him after the bobble, after the turn. It was Wanye Thomas. Yep. One snap prior on the 2-point conversion from Jaden Daniels to make it a 3-point game at that point. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was who didn't keep contained to allow Micah Parsons to get to the outside, so much so that Micah Parsons showed emotion back to Wanye Thomas. Yeah. What does he do 1 snap later? He forgets it, he does his job, and he helps pave the way for Cavante Turpin to end up scoring there. Now, Joe Davis was on the call for Fox here. The last time the Cowboys won, he was calling Game 2 of the NLDS where the Dodgers lost to the San Diego Padres. That's how long it's been since the Cowboys won a game. The Dodgers won the World Series 24 days later from that point. So with that all being said, is this enough to try and galvanize something toward the back half of the season?
Well, if you're a part of this team, you're a part of this organization, you can't worry about making sure this, propels us to the next step. You got to take it game by game. I know that's coach speech and all that other stuff, but
come on, Barry.
It's real. It's realistic. You got to take it game by game, and now they got to worry about the New York Giants, get that on schedule, and then you can go from there.
Listen, we talk about it all week. If the Dallas Cowboys were going to get this thing back on the rails, it had to start with this game. This game really was a determining factor on how the rest of the season could go. Because when you look at the records of the teams that you have remaining on your schedule coming into today, majority of these guys are on losing records. So if you're able to take care of the Washington Commanders, then you feel pretty doggone good about yourself going into a game against the Giants where you're going to continue to get guys back. Today, you did not have Brandon Cooks back. That will be an addition. Yeah. That will be huge. D-Law, I think D-Law might start feeling a little bit better now. All of a sudden, you put together a couple wins. You know what? I can practice. And so you get another guy back who's an all-pro guy or a Pro Bowl player. So your help is on the way, but you have to have one game that inspires guys, it galvanizes this locker room, and the guys who are injured, they have a little bit more pep in their step to get back and give some help.
A coach is going to coach us from prosperity, from seeing good things now. So when they point out something, it ain't always something bad. Yeah. It's something good. So when you can coach from a winning angle versus a losing angle, it just revitalizes your room.
And that's exactly what the Cowboys are going to try and do. Short week for the Cowboys. Thursday night, Thanksgiving matchup. The New York Giants coming to town. 3:25 kickoff. We'll have it for you on Cowboys pregame live and Cowboys postgame coverage as well. We leave you with the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite. 34-26. The Cowboys with their first win this month and their first in 5 tries. We've got Cowboys OT coming your way soon. We'll have inside the locker room interactions and one-on-one interviews, exclusive content following the Cowboys' first win in 5 tries. They win it 34-26 over Dan Quinn and the Commanders. For Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time on The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.